A fire broke out in Ampang, Malaysia, destroying 4 stores. Malaysia Tzu Chi volunteers make protective gowns for medical personnel. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In Ampang, Malaysia, a fire broke out at 4 o'clock in the morning, destroying 4 stores. It took nearly 40 minutes for 67 firefighters to control the fire. Although the cause of the fire has yet to be determined, many people feel fortunate that there were no casualties.
After the fire, this place was in ruins as 4 stores in Ampang were affected. It took nearly 40 minutes for 67 firefighters to control the fire. Kong Wan Zhou lived with his wife and younger brother. Looking back, he was still very frightened.
At around 4 o'clock in the morning, I heard a noise and thought it was raining or windy. Then I looked out. It's very bright outside. I looked again and found that it's a fire.
My husband called me and asked him to wake up his brother, who got up and pushed me to open the door. Otherwise, we would not be able to get out. The fire was very strong. We really can't get out if we ran slowly.
This is a letter of blessing and condolence from Master Zheng Yan and Tzu Chi volunteers around the world.
Tzu Chi volunteers gave out care and consolation cash to comfort the affected residents.
I didn't rescue any documents, not even shoes. This pair of shoes was given by other people. I want to use the consolation cash to buy some food and pay the rent.
Although their home was lost, Tzu Chi volunteers' sincere care and company led residents to hope that they can start a new life soon.
Kampung Titingan is the largest slum in Sabah, Malaysia, with most residents being stateless. Since the area has a high crime rate, few outsiders dare to come here. However, Tzu Chi volunteers have established a children's learning center here since 2017. Upon learning that many residents' lives have been affected by the pandemic, volunteers have come for the 4th time to distribute aid supplies.
Dapat nama? Artina. Hah? Artina,
Following pandemic prevention measures, Tzu Chi volunteers have come to Sabah's Kampung Titingan to make a roster for the upcoming distribution. Kampung Titingan, Sabah has a population of more than 10,000 people, mostly stateless. Volunteers have started home visitations here 6 years ago. Volunteers have prepared 34 tons of supplies for residents affected by the pandemic. 753 families have received a supply pack, which includes rice, oil, salt, and pandemic prevention supplies. The doctors on site also promoted the importance of hygiene.
Setiap orang mencuci tangan dengan menggunakan air dan sabun sudah cukup untuk membersihkan tangan kamu selama 20 saat ya.
After the distribution is completed, Tzu Chi volunteers were told that there's a case who needs help.
Berapa hari sudah ada sakit?
Sudah 7 hari.
Apa sakit dia ini?
Dia minta berak. Ini sakit tak? Tak ada sakit.
Dada, who is sick, cannot work. Having 6 children, she eats irregularly, and her living environment is not ideal. Tima doctor has diagnosed her as having stomach flu.
Satu sudu teh 4 kali 1 hari. Okay?
Ya, okey.
Volunteers have delivered timely help to the patient, bringing her warmth and best wishes. Hong Kong has entered the 4th wave of COVID-19 pandemic. It is found that 93% of seniors have reduced their activities, and 10% of them have signs of depression. Volunteers from Tzu Chi Hong Kong chapter distributed care packages to seniors.
The crowds lining up are all silver-haired seniors who are waiting to collect the exchange voucher from Tzu Chi with the resident card. Kwun Tong Wan Hon Estate is a public housing built by the Hong Kong government for the elderly. The novel coronavirus epidemic has made them more vulnerable.
I think it's very good for a Buddhist organization to come today to distribute care packages, which are quite helpful for the seniors. Especially after the epidemic, it is even more necessary.
The recycled bags were full of supplies are filled with volunteers' blessings, giving the seniors peace of mind.
Because of epidemic, many disadvantaged people may have difficulties. Some of them may lose their jobs, while some of seniors are restricted to go out. So we go to their homes to listen to them and give them care packages so as to lighten up their mood.
Volunteers help the seniors who are weak or staggering all the way home.
I'm really grateful. We should care more about the seniors.
Biscuits, rice, and cooking oil. The seniors are very happy. It's more blessed to give than to receive. It's our blessing to be able to care for others.
Although people's mind will be weakened as the COVID-19 epidemic prevention period extends, people's love and care for the needy will always be there.
City volunteers continue to care for seniors in the community. In Hualien, they help celebrate the birthday of a 95-year-old senior. They replace cakes with healthy food to celebrate his special day. The senior said he wished to be a silent mentor at the end of his life.
Tzu Chi volunteers replaced a birthday cake with healthy foods to celebrate the birthday of the 95-year-old grandfather, Li Minggang. He has served as an educator for 33 years before retiring. He has a silent mentor donation card with him as he is committed to helping others.
At the end of my life, I have a desire to do something good for society. I have a desire to donate my body to Tzu Chi.
Tzu Chi volunteers have helped develop close relationships and neighborliness in the community and usually take the initiative to deliver meals to Grandpa Li, who lived alone. In recent years, his sons and daughters often come back to accompany him.
After retiring, he lived alone. Now his daughter comes back and cares for her father, and he is doing much better.
At least I help him cook one meal a day. When I cook at home, eating well, and being in good health, I think coming back is really worth it.
Because of this warmth and love, Grandpa Li exercises diligently every day and takes care of his body and mind, maintaining the best condition of his body until others one day can make use of it.
In Taiwan, Tima Northern Chapter went to Shuangxi to hold their regular free clinic. Many of the seniors are over 80 and have chronic diseases. Besides providing medical care, doctors were also able to remember their initial aspiration of becoming a doctor.
Heavy rains poured down on the mountainous areas the day before, making the lush green scenery beautiful than ever. Once every 2 months, Tzu Chi volunteers and Tima doctors head over to Shuangxi to carry out free medical checkups.
For the group of seniors that came today, the youngest one is 86 years old, while the rest are all over 90s. One of the Tzu Chi brothers said that we actually come here to learn longevity from these seniors.
I'm very grateful for these seniors. Whenever Tzu Chi heads to rural areas, the whole medical team is willing to participate. Every place that we go, over 10 medical personnel will go together, so it's very touching.
For the seniors living in the mountains, although they're quite old, they still continue farming. Many of them are still strong, but due to their age, they have developed chronic diseases. Doctors kept on reminding the seniors on how to maintain their health, while also not forgetting their initial aspiration of becoming a doctor.
I think you are doing very well, so I hope to be able to join in with all of you to do this good deed. Therefore, I'm here.
We are all in this together. If you are happy, I'm also happy.
We have pure intentions, that is to come here to take care for the seniors and provide medical assistance. I think that our initial thoughts are pure. What comes after is positivity.
For the 10 visitation routes, many of which are not shown on the map. However, volunteers are very familiar with these small alleys. Zhang Zi has been volunteering in the free medical checkups with her grandparents since she was young. She can fully understand the thoughts of these seniors.
When I see the disadvantaged people, I will have the urge to help them.
This is the last visitation by Tzu Chi this year. It is hoped that when they visit again during spring next year, all the seniors can still be healthy and happy.
In Malaysia, the pandemic continues to threaten people's lives. City volunteers have mobilized to make protective gowns. At Tzu Chi Kita chapter, a group of volunteers used their tailoring skills to make protective gowns, hoping to help safeguard the medical personnel.
Before making the protective gowns, we need to wash hands and wear masks.
City volunteers from Kita and Perlis have gathered here. Having skills in tailoring, they shoulder the responsibility for making protective gowns.
I am from Polis. We came here to take the materials for making protective gowns.
We come from Jutra. They are all tailors.
I am from Sangway, Pantani. Since I can still work, I should contribute.
Recording the main points with their mobile phones, they discuss the details of the task. Everyone seized the opportunity to help fight the pandemic.
We do not know when the pandemic will end. Therefore, we sew the protective gowns ahead of time. We also hope the pandemic ends soon.
It's important to make these protective gowns first. Making money is not as important. People need these protective gowns to save patients, right? Making money is not important. This comes first.
Volunteers use their skills to help support the medical personnel. In Indonesia, a 12-year-old boy Rizky has been suffering from hernia. His parents cannot afford his medical treatment. In 2017, City Free Clinic gave him the opportunity to have a free surgery. Since then, he has been listed as a City Care recipient.
Ricky, a 12-year-old boy, was not so calm before 2017.
He used to cry. After playing for a while, he would go to bed. He would continue crying after he woke up. He often had a fever and his skin became very yellow.
I was so worried, so I took my child to the community health center for an examination. The doctor said he had a hernia.
The child is diagnosed with hernia, and the parents can do nothing because Ricky's father works as a street vendor to support his family. He did not plan to carry out treatment, but he met Tzu Chi during a free clinic in Batam.
He's a very fortunate child. Although he suffers from illness and pain at birth, God still took care of him. He had a good connection with Tzu Chi, so he can undergo surgery without additional registration. This is also his parents' best hope.
I want to thank the doctor for curing my hernia.
After Ricky recovered, Tima doctors and volunteers always make time to visit his family. They bought some daily necessities and care about their current situation, making sure they live every day well.
City volunteers in Changsha, Hunan, went to Hunan University of Chinese Medicine for the 8th year to give out scholarships. It is also an opportunity to meet with the students and convey positive messages.
It is the 8th year for Tzu Chi to give out scholarship to the students of Hunan University of Chinese Medicine. This year, Tzu Chi volunteers went there to promote eco-friendliness.
If a person practices eco-friendliness, he may go faster and do a lot. But for a group of people, they can go further and to a greater extent.
We divide the students and volunteers into different groups so that in each group they can exchange ideas and play games together. This can enhance their communication and understanding.
The scholarship not only helps solve the scholarship recipients' current difficulties, but also forms a long relationship between them and volunteers.
We give out care to the students from impoverished families. I treat them like my own kids. I feel very at ease. It's not that Tzu Chi needs me, but I need Tzu Chi.
It's the power of the role models. When I see Tzu Chi aunties and uncles, I will think about how should I get along with others in the future, how to treat others and pass on warmth that Tzu Chi volunteers give me.
In New Taipei City's Jingsan district, 3 brothers live in a sea-sand-built house. For a long time, the house experienced water leakage and corrupted rebars. Around August, a professional plasterer was invited to help renovate the house.
人就是要互相帮助，世界才会好。不管是环保或是经济困难的人，要互相帮助，从我们邻居做起，也不能够光靠自己。
Although joining the recycling ranks for just 2 months, Xu Jingfu still does recycling at an efficient pace, no matter if it's at the recycling station in Keelung Jingsi Hall or collecting recyclables at Jingsan and Wanli districts. Xu Jingfu is always there.
He does recycling work seriously, and he does it well because he is flexible and strong. Most importantly, whenever he finishes work, he cleans up the surrounding environment.
Xu
Jingfu was dedicated to volunteering because several months ago, his sea-sand house was renovated by Tzu Chi. With thankfulness, he wanted to give back.
Doing good deeds is a must, and I just so happen to be unemployed, along with Tzu Chi helping me renovate my house, so I thought of doing meaningful good deeds.
Xu Jingfu not only goes to the recycling station, in his spare time, whenever there's a need for manual labor, he often helps with transporting assistive devices and second-handed furniture.
He does things with great passion and maybe in the short run doesn't have good affinities, but that doesn't mean he won't have good affinities tomorrow. So besides blessing him, we have to connect him with others. I believe that if we do so, he may get better.
Besides doing recycling work, Xu Jingfu also participates in book clubs, gaining rest while nourishing himself.
He said that he is happy to give, and I want him to understand Tzu Chi more and to understand Buddhism properly.
After his home was renovated, Xu Jingfu changed from a receiver to a giver, helping volunteers with recycling work.
The installation of solar panels requires sunshine and high power lines to feed the electrical grid. This has made the coastal areas of Jiayin and Tainan a top choice for solar power farms. However, this is also a primary habitat for migratory birds. A foreign businessman from Singapore obtained government agreement to develop more than 200 hectares of solar energy. However, in the end, the government decided to withdraw consent due to protests from environmentalists.
If green energy is developed in an ecological sensitive place, it will actually violate our expectations of what green energy should be.
The coastal area of Tainan is rich in birds, and it is one of the important migratory paths for migratory birds. However, Taipower has 200 hectares of solar power development underway here, and now there are developers who want to come with the local people, quite worried the ecology will be destroyed.
According to existing data, this area has been classified as a highly sensitive ecological area. Why should any solar power be able to develop in such a controversial ecological area?
Walking in this internationally known bird-watching area, bird enthusiasts must carry binoculars and zoom photography lenses to ensure that these wetlands don't disappear, something that they all worry about.
This place is too important. If it were to be developed as solar power farm, it would be quite a pity.
We support the use of solar panels. The solar panels should not appear in these ecologically sensitive zones.
Chigu is the hometown of the black-faced spoonbill, and we're also afraid that so many ground-type solar panels will affect the black-faced spoonbill not to come to Chigu, and it will simply become the hometown of solar energy.
Whether migratory birds will come or not is an indicator of ecological quality. This year, warning signs have appeared.
Solar panels have been spread all over, and the number of black-faced spoonbills in Tingshan has decreased a lot this year.
This leisurely small village was originally quiet and worry-free, but because of a number of solar panel projects, caused earth-shaking changes.
In Taiwan, all the cases added up are a few hundreds, and there are already hundreds of applications because solar power is very popular.
They are doing it on this side, and they will also do this on top of our detention pond.
Chen Bojing was angry and helpless. He wanted to defend his hometown and protest this development, but he couldn't inspire many people.
Our village is made of elderly people, and the sun is quite hot, and we can't let elderly people stand in the sun for so long. In the end, it was only me protesting.
The red area is a habitat for migratory birds and is also state-owned land. The developer had already obtained government approval for the project. With testimony by ecological experts and local people, the policy was finally changed and consent was withdrawn.
Because of an ecological dispute and its location in a high-risk area, for the industry, they already started their evaluation as we refunded their deposit without interest.
In addition to state-owned land, solar energy companies are also hunting for private land. As long as it is not an ecologically disputed area, it can be a hotspot for developers.
Almost 2 or 3 days, someone comes and their offers are really good. They actually don't need that much money to buy a fish farm, and the rent will exceed the price of a fish farm land, but there must be many problems in 20 years.
Wu Sunji has his own land. He said that he would not rent to them, but he's in the minority. Some 70% of farmers rent their land, and it's the landlords who make the decisions.
The landlord is not involved in breeding. He's talking about economic benefits. We rent for about $1,000 to $1,300 a month, but if their solar panel company gives them $10,000, then of course they'll work with them.
The solar power industry that can be installed on fish farms cannot exceed 40%, and aquaculture production capacity cannot be lower than current output by 70%.
According to the report on the aquaculture experiment in 2019, the growth rate of fish with solar panels installed overhead is only half that of the industry.
If you don't agree with pairing fish breeding and solar panels, then the landlord will take back the land and rent it to the solar power industry, and to find someone else to do it. They only care about the benefits, and the tenant faces a dilemma.
We are worried about not having a job. There will be no place to support the family.
In the past, there was always a chance to work hard, but now the sky and the earth can be taken away from them, and these farmers don't know where to go in the future.
In the Philippines, city volunteers made home visits to prepare for upcoming distribution of financial aid to typhoon-affected residents. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.